Welcome to BookBuzz Reviews and Summaries. What if you woke up one morning and realized that the whispers of your soul were never random? They were invitations, invitations to rise, to stretch, to awaken to the highest, truest version of yourself. What if every conversation you've ever had, every struggle you've ever endured, and every quiet moment of reflection was actually life's way of guiding you home to yourself? This book is not just a compilation of words. It's a spiritual mosaic, handpicked from the echoes of some of the most profound minds of our time. The wisdom of Sundays is an offering, raw, radiant, and soul-stirring. These pages are infused with truth, with energy, with love. They carry the echoes of super soul conversations, those sacred moments where something real, something eternal, is spoken out loud and received with reverence. Through these deeply human and deeply divine exchanges, Oprah Winfrey reminds us that life isn't about simply existing, it's about awakening to your purpose, to your power, to the still, small voice within that has been waiting patiently for you to listen. This book is a mirror, not to who you've been, but to who you can be, if only you dare to leave intentionally, love freely, and embrace the fullness of your spirit. So, take a breath. Take a pause, turn the page. You are about to enter a sanctuary of truth, a soul space where fear falls away, clarity rises, and transformation begins. You don't need to pack a bag. You don't need to go searching for yourself in faraway places. The journey starts here, on a Sunday, with wisdom, with you. Welcome to your awakening. Part 1. Awakening to the Power Within. Chapter 1. The moment you wake up inside. Oprah opens this spiritual journey with a truth that shakes the soul awake. There is a power greater than you, but it flows through you. From the very beginning, she shares how she's spent decades seeking something more than just success or fame, what she's truly after. And what this book sets out to reveal is alignment. This section invites us to consider, have we truly woken up, not in the physical sense, but in the way of the spirit? Are we aware of our place in this world? Our connection to something greater? She brings in deep voices, like Eckhart Tolle, who teaches us that the present moment is where life truly unfolds. Through Oprah's conversations, we realize that awakening isn't a one-time moment. It's a series of quiet realizations, like little bells ringing in our soul. You are not your thoughts, Tolle says. You are the awareness behind them. Listeners can begin asking themselves, what part of me is watching my thoughts right now? That awareness. That's you. That's your doorway to the divine. Chapter 2. Stop resisting the flow. Here's where Oprah flips the script. So many of us push and strive, chasing, forcing, controlling. But what if the greatest power came from surrender? Oprah shares insights from Michael A. Singer, who wrote The Untethered Soul. His message is both startling and liberating. You don't have to fight with life. Instead, witness the moment, accept it, let it flow through you. He says, you're the one inside that notices the voice talking. That internal observer isn't meant to be consumed by pain or joy. It simply watches. This chapter teaches us that suffering often comes not from the moment itself, but from our resistance to it. Whether it's fear, heartbreak, or failure, it's our clinging, our grip, that creates the pain. Oprah's voice in this part is like a gentle guide. Trust life, trust yourself, trust that the universe is always moving you toward the next best step, even if it doesn't look that way. Chapter 3. Who are you without the labels? In this soul-stirring section, Oprah brings in Brené Brown, who shares the raw truth about vulnerability and authenticity. We often define ourselves by what we do, how much we make, where we live, who we know. But beneath all that, who are we? Brené challenges us. Are you brave enough to show up as your whole self, without the armor? This chapter is about peeling off the layers, about not just being seen but being known. Oprah echoes this. We're all seeking the same thing, to be seen, to be heard, to know that we matter. The conversations here are rich, emotional, and powerful. They speak to that place inside us that craves realness, not perfection. And for listeners, there's a question to sit with. What parts of me have I hidden to fit in, and what happens if I stop hiding? Chapter 4. Finding Your Why, Living Your Truth. Here we meet Gary Zukav, who talks about the power of the soul's intention. Life isn't just happening to you, it's responding to who you are moment by moment. Zukav calls it authentic power. When your personality and your soul align, when you stop pretending, stop chasing, and start listening to what your spirit longs to express. He and Oprah explore a major theme of the book. You don't have to know the whole path. You just have to take the next right step. This chapter is empowering. It's about tuning in, not out. It's about discovering your gifts, yes, but more than that, it's about giving those gifts away. That's purpose. That's legacy, Oprah says. When the personality comes fully to serve the energy of the soul, that's when you begin to live your most powerful life. Part 2. Inner Stillness, Outer Strength. Chapter 5. The Whisper Knows the Way. We all have that still, small voice inside of us, the whisper that knows, but most of the time, life is too loud to hear it. In this chapter, Oprah introduces the concept of what she calls the spiritual GPS, a built-in system of knowing that nudges us toward truth, but it speaks in stillness. It doesn't shout. It whispers. She reflects on moments in her own life where she ignored that inner voice and paid the price. And on the flip side, times she listened and everything aligned in conversation. With Caroline MYSS, the powerful idea arises. Your intuition is not a luxury. It's your lifeline. When you're disconnected from it, you're not just lost, you're vulnerable. But when you're in tune with it, you move through the world with grace and power. Your life is always speaking to you. Are you quiet enough to hear it? Oprah. Chapter 6. Peace is always present. You just have to be. This chapter is a beautiful dive into the practice of being instead of doing. Oprah brings in Jon Kabat-Zinn, the father of modern mindfulness, who shares that we don't need to chase peace. It's already here. We just need to stop, breathe, and arrive, he teaches. Mindfulness is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. This simple practice, pausing to feel your breath, your body, your presence, can shift your entire life, and Oprah adds her own wisdom. Every time you feel stress, ask yourself, am I here, or am I projecting into the next thing? This isn't just about meditation cushions and quiet mornings. It's about finding your center even in chaos, even in grief, even in the storm. Chapter 7. Intention is the seed of everything. If there's one message Oprah wants burned into our spirits, it's this. Intention creates reality. She pulls in wisdom from Deepak Chopra, who describes intention as the creative force behind everything in the universe. Your intention, what you're truly thinking, feeling, and believing beneath the surface, is shaping your life right now. Oprah confesses that earlier in her career, she didn't fully understand this. But now, it's her life's foundation. Every decision, every relationship, every yes or no comes from asking, what's the real intention here? Here's the kicker. You can't fool the universe. It responds not to your words, but to your energy. This chapter is a wake-up call and an invitation. What energy are you putting into the world? What seeds are you planting, knowingly or unknowingly? Chapter 8. Strength is forged in the wilderness. Here, Oprah moves us into the emotional trenches because awakening doesn't mean life gets easy. In fact, spiritual growth often shows up in the form of breakdowns, heartbreak, and uncertainty. She draws from Rob Bell and Pema Chodron, who both say the same thing in different ways. Suffering isn't the end, it's the doorway. Pema speaks of groundlessness. The moment everything familiar disappears and you're left floating in the unknown. But instead of panicking, she teaches us to lean in, sit with the discomfort, let it shape you. Rob Bell reminds us, everything is spiritual, even the pain, especially the pain. When we learn to bless the darkness, we discover new strength. Oprah ties it together with this truth. The wilderness is where the transformation happens, and no one gets to skip it. Part 3. The courage to love, the power to heal. Chapter 9. Love is the ultimate spiritual practice. Oprah opens this section with a spiritual truth that transcends every religion, every philosophy, every walk of life. Love is the highest vibration there is. She reflects on the words of Marianne Williamson, who teaches that love is not just an emotion, it's a choice, a daily, deliberate decision to show up with compassion, empathy, and grace, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. In a powerful moment, Oprah says, "Love is what we're all here for. Every soul wants to give it, and every soul longs to receive it." This chapter challenges us to shift our understanding of love from romance or sentimentality to something more radical. Love as healing, love as service, love as the energy that changes everything, and the reflection lands softly but deeply. Where in my life have I withheld love, and what might happen if I offered it freely, even to myself? Chapter 10. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. This chapter is one of the most emotionally stirring in the entire book. Oprah tells personal stories of betrayal, pain, and disappointment, but also of release, freedom, and growth, and the key to that freedom, forgiveness. She brings in wisdom from Ian Levin's aunt, who says, "Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different." Think about that. So many of us are trapped in stories about what should have happened, what could have been, but Oprah and Iyanla both show us that healing begins when we let that go. This is not about condoning what was done. It's not about excusing hurt. It's about reclaiming our power. As Oprah shares, forgiveness liberates the soul. It's the gift you give yourself. It's raw, it's brave, it's hard, but it's also the path to peace. Chapter 11. Whole belonging, no more hiding. This chapter pulses with truth. With the guidance of Brené Brown, Oprah explores what it means to truly belong, not just fit in, not just be accepted, but to belong to yourself. Brené makes a powerful distinction. Fitting in is changing who you are, belonging is being who you are, and that requires courage, tremendous courage. Together, they explore how we often abandon parts of ourselves in exchange for approval, affection, or acceptance. But doing that fractures the soul. The only way to become whole again is to come home to who we really are. Oprah shares her own stories of feeling out of place, even as a public figure, and she reminds us, you are enough, not because you proved it, but because you are. Chapter 12. Your story is your power. This chapter is a call to rise. Oprah welcomes Shaka Senghor, a man who went from prison to purpose. His story, one of pain, redemption, and healing, reminds us that we are never too broken, too far gone, too anything for grace. She also brings in Elizabeth Lesser, who shares the idea that your wounds are not the end of you, they are the beginning. Our stories, no matter how messy or painful, are sacred. They shape us, soften us, and, when shared with intention, they heal others too. Oprah says, when you share your truth, you give others permission to do the same. This chapter feels like an embrace for every listener who has ever felt ashamed of their journey. It is a reminder that everything you've walked through has prepared you to become, to lead, to love, to rise. Part 4. Living the Light Within. Chapter 13. Grace Flows in Still Moments. We begin this final part with a quiet truth. Grace is always with us, but we rarely stop long enough to feel it. Oprah opens up about her favorite definition of grace: God's presence and favor, unearned and ever-flowing. She reflects on the many times in her life when she didn't have the strength, the answer, or the plan, but somehow she was carried. That was grace. She invites Caroline Myss back into the conversation, who describes grace as power without force. It's not loud or flashy. It's a deep, calm knowing that you're not alone, and you never were. This chapter is a spiritual exhale, a reminder that even when we're striving and struggling, there is something sacred holding us. Oprah says, you don't have to hustle for your worth. Grace already knows who you are. Chapter 14. Presence is the doorway to everything. This chapter is like a meditation in motion with the guidance of Eckhart Tolle. Oprah dives deep into the power of now. The mind, Eckhart reminds us, loves to leave in the past or race toward the future, but life, real life, only happens in the present moment. Eckhart teaches, the present moment is not something you need to find, it's where you are. Together, they explore how the simple act of noticing, the breath, the body, the surroundings, can awaken the spirit. It can turn an ordinary day into a sacred one, and most importantly, it can end the anxiety of what's next. Oprah shares how practicing presence has changed her daily life. From the way she eats to the way she listens, she calls it the truest path to peace. Chapter 15. Purpose isn't a job, it's a way of being. If there's one idea Oprah returns to again and again, it's this: your life has meaning, you are here on purpose. But she also reminds us, purpose isn't about job titles or fame, it's about impact, connection, contribution. Who are you when no one is watching? How do you make others feel? What legacy are you leaving in the everyday? She's joined in this chapter by Gary Zukav, who offers this wisdom. When the personality comes fully to serve the energy of the soul, that is authentic empowerment. That's purpose, not striving, but aligning. When your values match your actions, your soul feels at home. Oprah shares how finding her calling wasn't about finding a platform. It was about being a vessel for truth, service, and light. And she leaves listeners with this invitation. Your purpose is already whispering. Are you listening? Chapter 16. Awaken Living, the Soul's True Call. The final chapter is a soft crescendo. Oprah reminds us that awakening isn't a destination, it's a daily devotion. It's the moment you stop sleepwalking through life, when you begin to see meaning in every moment, when you leave with the soul, not against it. She invites wisdom from Mark Nepo, who says, "The soul only wants to grow. Growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always calling us forward." And in her own quiet, yet powerful voice, Oprah shares, "You are not here to shrink, you are here to shine." Awaken Living is a dance between action and surrender, knowing and unknowing, doing and being. It's not about perfect spiritual practices, it's about showing up fully and consciously to this one precious life. She ends the book and this journey with gratitude for the teachers, for the listeners, for the sacred in the ordinary, and her final message: when you leave from the soul, you become the light for someone else to find theirs. Read the book to learn more. Thanks for listening to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.